Are you looking for a fun way to win up to 25 times your money this football and basketball season? Test your skills on Prize Picks, the most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports. Just select two or more players, pick more or less on their projections for a wide variety of stats, and place your entry. It's as easy as that. If you have the skills, you can turn $10 into $250 with just a few taps. Easy gameplay, quick withdrawals, and injury insurance on your picks are what makes Prize Picks the #1 daily fantasy sports app. Ready to test your skills? Join the PrizePicks community of more than 7 million players who have already signed up. Right now, PrizePicks will match your first deposit up to $100. Just visit prizepicks.com/bluewire and use code BLUEWIRE. That's code BLUEWIRE at prizepicks.com/bluewire for a first deposit match of up to $100. PrizePicks, daily fantasy sports made easy.
Support for this podcast comes from Frito-Lay and the 2023 Snack Bracket Championship. The Frito-Lay Snack-It Challenge is underway, and fans are voting on their favorite snacks to crown champion. We're talking about prime-time matchups between the best 64 snacks in the land. Will Ruffles Ridges reign supreme? Can Doritos defend their dynasty? Or will Smart Food use their smarts for a surprise upset? Only you can decide. Get in on all the action for a chance to win up to $1,000 or a year's worth of snacks. Let your snacks be heard. Just go to fritolaysnacket.sbnation.com to vote and enter for a chance to win. No purchase necessary. Sweepstakes ends April 3rd, 2023. Void where prohibited. Year's worth of snacks awarded in the form of 52 coupons, each good for one bag of chips. See official rules at fritolaysnacket.sbnation.com.
Hello, Mavs fans and friends. Welcome to Mavs Moneyballs After Dark. It is Wednesday night, March 15th, a shade before 10:30. This is Kirk Henderson and Josh Bowe coming to you after the Dallas Mavericks pulled back to 500 with an overtime victory over the purposely tanking San Antonio Spurs. How you doing, Josh?
I doing pretty good. I appreciate the Dallas Mavericks for once again giving us a game that's going to make everyone angry. It's another game where they win, and I'm sure there's going to be people puffing their chests about Christian Wood and that the team has cracked their losing streak, and that's great. And then there's going to be the other side of it that's screaming about how fake of a win this is. And, you know, it just wouldn't be the Mavericks if they just couldn't get a normal, plain, old-fashioned win, right?
Well, I have to get something off my chest like right away because it colored the entire game. And it is not his fault. It is production's fault within the crew at Bally Sports Southwest and within the TV mics that were going on in the arena. But whatever the hell was happening with Mark Followell's mic was it took me so far out of the game. Like it sounded like somebody breaking speakers every time he got excited. And as we know, Followell is pretty want to get excited this year. Like he gets excited about lots of things. And I'm not being critical of the excitement. I'm being critical of the way the game was, like what happened in the production value, because it was like every 10 seconds, it sounded like, and it was just like unbearable scratching. And it put me in a worse mood because the game was fucking terrible.
Yeah, I mean, what else is there? I mean, the Spurs played last night. They have 18 wins. They're trying to lose. And not only did they, you know, they're just a bad team, but they're missing like at least a couple of good rotation players. Like Devin Vassell didn't play.
Oh, they had 7 guys. They were missing 7 guys.
And at least like 3 of them were major rotation guys. You know?
No, this was not a team that was trying to win.
No.
And they put up organizationally, like players don't tank, organizations do. They put up a hell of a fight against the Mavericks, and it was an entertaining game if you're just tuning in. But I am just, somebody asked me today, like, why do you podcast? Why do you do this stuff whenever the games are this awful? And it's like, well, the honest answer is because I've committed myself to doing it. I've committed myself, and so have you, to doing these shows and the live show that we do. I don't want to do it. I've not had fun watching a Mavericks game in a long time. Because it's like, you know, I'm really like, on the one hand, I'm really delighted Christian Wood finally had a game finally, it's the first game in a while where it's like, yeah, Christian Wood doing the thing and getting to take advantage of his skill set and really being a key factor in the win after the Mavericks really earnestly tried to give the ball game away. I mean, it was, we've not really talked about what happened in the game, and I don't really know how to summarize this game. It was 137 to 128. Maxi Kleber looks like a guy who tore his hamstring. And, Jaden Hardy played a fun game, really fun game from him. But some of the mistakes that the Mavericks made are not the mistakes a team that even has playoff aspirations makes. I mean, Maxi Kleber it's hard to describe. Like, this is sort of shit that happens in middle school basketball. On a side out with 1 second left, Maxi Kleber threw it the full length of the court out of bounds when the Mavericks were up 2 after the Spurs had missed a pair of free throws to tie it and send it into overtime. And then the Spurs, and this is crazy, hear me out. The Spurs ran an actual play and got a great shot at the rim to send the game into overtime. I mean,
they got an alley-oop dunk.
That was an incredible play.
Can't get a better shot than that.
Woo! And I'm sounding really bitter, and I am bitter. Like I'm just the response is probably going to be like, Kirk, you need to take some time off. And like, let's be clear, I do. But we don't really have the ability to do that with what we do. It's what we sign up for. So I know I need to stop whinging, but it's just not an enjoyable watch. Like, I like watching Christian Wood play. Like, Bullock played himself a heck of a game, 20 points, 13 boards. I should be feeling better after this one, but I'm just not. Do you have any thoughts as to why?
Well, it's because the Spurs, I mean, once the Spurs got to, the Spurs played pretty well. And then they made a three-pointer that got them up 112-103 with 5 minutes left. They scored 16 points for the rest of the game in overtime. That's 10 minutes of basketball time. That's not very good. They only
turnovers galore, and like that's when I say it's like that. Like, they were not trying to do this. It's just their talent dried up. They didn't have an ability to play.
I've just never seen a team like that. Was a team that just had no desire. Like, it was just crazy how they just pretty much made the wrong basketball play every single time. After that, they got that lead. It was just like, again, I know players don't tank, organizations do, but it was like someone read them the Winter Soldier codes to alter their programming so that they could start losing. Like, it was pretty unbelievable. And
they were kicking the shit out of the Mavericks. Let's be clear.
Yeah,
like,
I know.
They had put the
and then they just stopped.
Yeah. And to their credit, to the Mavericks' credit, one guy in particular, I thought finally, I have Jason Kidd on mute. I wonder what things he's saying now. One of the perks of us not doing this after, like, we don't do this super late, guys. We do this like immediately after the game ends, is usually we don't hear what the coaching, because otherwise I'd be grumpier sooner. But Jaden Hardy, who once again shot a very inefficient 5 of 17 from the floor, finally started getting some calls. He shot 10 free throws on the night, and in that fourth quarter really started getting actually, like, because he gets bumped a lot, but he's a rookie. Nobody's calling fouls for a short rookie at the rim. Sorry.
Yeah.
He finally started getting some good like, he was getting like checked to the ground, and that really helped Dallas get back into this game. Dwight Powell was offensive rebounding.
I mean, Dwight Powell won the game.
Yes.
For me. I mean, he had 6 straight possessions. Like, I think the Spurs went up 9 and Powell got 6 unanswered points, and 2 of them were just like offensive rebounds. Like,
yeah.
Again, it's like the counter is going to be, well, whoop-de-doo for Powell doing it in a game against like one of the worst teams in the league. Can he do it against Memphis? And it's like,
the answer is no.
But this is the game they had to play. Like, I don't know what else.
Right. So it's like reality. And it's like, this is why me being pissy is not really logical, because like they need to win. They need to get into the playoffs. I'm just kind of tired of watching this team because of their limited options.
Yeah, this was a game where like nothing changed. Like, nothing.
I'm glad
changed
they won.
How we think
I am
about
glad they won.
Right. It's glad that they won, but we still feel the same way about the team that we did yesterday.
Yeah.
It's just It's just, without Luke and Kyrie, there's just some things that stand out. And, I think the biggest thing for me this game, positively, the biggest thing for me this game is that, remember, after that Memphis game, we were like, man, Josh Green, Jaden Hardy, Hardy didn't have the most efficient game, but at least Green and Hardy, like those guys were playing their asses off and they were doing all that they could to try to win that game. And you looked at the rest of the box score and all the players that are like veterans that should be able to step up when there's no Luka, no Kyrie, had awful games. And we talked about how like Maxey and Bullock and Powell and Hart, like they all had just awful games. And it's like, dude, you guys are like it shouldn't be up to Josh Green and Jaden Hardy necessarily to bail your asses out of this. Like, you guys have been in playoff games, you've helped win playoff games. Like, come on. And this game they did. Bullock had 20, Powell had 22, and then Wood had 28. Like, seeing Powell and Bullock kind of respond, like they at least showed some pride in this game, because if they kind of went out another game where they just kind of had like 2 points and 3 rebounds, like, no, like that's unacceptable. Well, like that would have been, this would have been a game where if they lost and those guys didn't play well, we're talking about like, has Kid lost the locker room? Like, do they not want to play?
I mean, I've
start
been
asking some dark
that.
questions.
I've sort of been the Mavericks had 19 turnovers, and the fact that they pushed over 19 turnovers is pretty important, because that's got to be their high. They're a low turnover game. Now,
eight of them were Wood and McKinley, right?
They shot 52% from 3, which is not repeatable. Like, they're playing the Lakers on Friday. That's not happening against the Lakers. They hit 32 of 37 free throws. I think that is repeatable if Luka and Kyrie come back. Like, that's a thing that the Mavericks have been pretty good at. It's just they don't actually hit their free throws. The Spurs missed 11 free throws.
Yeah.
And we've been on the other side of this, right?
Right.
So I guess I'm being a sourpuss for no reason. I'm just like, I don't know how to talk about this team, because I don't want to crap on anything that happened that was good. I just don't really take anything long-term away from it. Do you?
No, I think the only thing I think is like, hey, the veterans have some pride, and the locker room isn't lost. Like,
maybe not. He felt like he played Wood out of absolute desperation.
Yeah, and Bullock had 13 rebounds. Like, again, it was just like, guys, like, we know you're not all-stars, but you're playing a team that can't tie its own shoelaces. Like, come on, you're 8, 9, 5, however many of your veterans you guys are. You've made big shots in playoff games. Like, this game, even without Luke and Kyrie, it's inexcusable. Like, and they finally played to the level of the urgency that I feel like we've felt that the team should have been playing at like 3 weeks ago. So that's that's something. I don't know how much that carries over. Like, they could absolutely get crushed by the Lakers on the road in their next game, and then we're going to look back at this game and be like, oh, okay. But they stopped the bleeding, and for at least 24, 48 hours, however long it's going to be till their next game, they just don't have to deal with like the negative thoughts, which matters. Like, the locker room can be just a little bit more upbeat. Like, it's just it just helps. I don't know how much it's going to help, but it'll help for up until tip off at least of the next game. But again, it's just the way they ended over the regulation. Like, it's just like they really know how to piss in the punch bowl.
I don't know. This is probably a me problem.
I don't think
wrong.
So. There's a lot of other people I think that feel the same way you did. I mean, this should have been an easier win for sure. I mean, the fact that they had to rally down, they were down 9 with 5 minutes left in the fourth quarter. Like, again, the Spurs lost this game. Like, it's not like the Mavs had a 9-point lead and then things got weird. Like, they had to scratch and claw to get back into this game in the fourth quarter. And that, you're just like, wait, where was that in the first 3 quarters? And that's frustrating.
The scratching and clawing to get back into it in the fourth quarter is objectively good. That it was against a team that has zero interest in winning is where I land. And
and missing people. Like, if Devin Vassell's playing this game, the Spurs probably win. Like, that's sad.
And that's where I'm just like, I should probably just log off for the night. And unfortunately, I have to go record a live show. And I will put on a better face for the live show just because I don't want to be that guy. But I just I don't know, man, because if like they played the Lakers on Friday, who lost tonight, and the Lakers are going to be in absolute do or die mode.
Well, they lost to Houston. Holy cow!
Yeah, they lost.
So they're going to be pissed off for that next game.
Yes, and so there's kind of open questions like Kyrie. For anybody that doesn't know, Kyrie Irving more or less described like a popping plantar fasciitis thing today. Foot pain. He's very verbose. Like Kyrie says like 35 words when 10 will do. And I appreciate the difference because Luka says 0 when we just want 2 in terms of, so it's like Kyrie talked a lot and he basically said, he's like, this hurts and my foot hurts and I need my feet to operate was a long thing. And it's like, so I sort of expect him to play out of a question of pride, but the way he described his foot pain, which is,
don't fuck around with feet.
Really fucking uncomfortable for like I've had it. It hurts. Like you can't do stuff. And like one of the things that makes him is his ability to use his footwork to his advantage. So it's like if he doesn't play, but Luka maybe does, maybe, I don't want to say the Mavs don't have a chance. Like that's not correct. Like they're a basketball team. They always have a chance. It's a late game on Friday. It's the last late game of the year until playoffs are playing or whatnot. And I'm not terribly looking forward to it. I'm just not.
Yeah. They need to string together some wins before I think the bad thoughts go away.
Yeah.
And we'll see what happens. I don't know.
All right, guys.
With this one.
We tried our best. Kirk Henderson and Josh Bowe, Dallas. Oh, you know what? This is neat. The broadcast just announced this. I saw the Valley Sports thing. First time in Mavericks history, they had 5 20-plus point scorers.
Wow.
Interesting. Yeah.
There you go.
Right? That's kind of interesting.
I was looking at the box score this whole time we've been talking, and I didn't even notice it.
Yeah, that's pretty neat. Pretty neat. Kudos to the guys with that.
I wonder when was the last time Reggie Bullock scored 20 points?
Shit, who knows? I mean, Bullock's box score looks
January 24th was the last time he scored 20 points.
He had some clutch makes tonight. Good for Reggie.
And that was his only other 20. That was his second 20-point game of the season.
Oh, they needed it then.
They did.
All right. Kirk Henderson and Josh Bowe, thank you so much for hanging out with us. Pop over to Mavs Moneyball. We'll see what we're able to gin up. Hopefully something fun. We'll be back here on Friday night, late. I'm sure I will be just charming as I am most nights. Yeah, everybody be good and enjoy the second half of your week. At least they got to win. Bye, guys.
Today's episode is brought to you by Cars.com. With over 2 million vehicles and 50,000 more added every day, Cars.com will match you with the perfect car for you, your budget, your life, your style. And if you're ready to say goodbye to your current car, Cars.com will get you an instant offer to cash it in. Just start by entering your license plate, then get matched with a local dealer who will write you the check. So whether you're looking to buy or sell, just go to Cars.com. It's magical.